Hey, welcome back to a brand new episode of the Woodpreneur podcast. This is your host, Steve, and today's guest is James Mathias from Pocono Table Company. How you doing, James?
I'm good, Steve. What's going on?
How you doing? So we met in December when I had put out a marketing plan workshop, and you had joined, and so you did that, and then since then, full disclosure to everybody, you became a client. We did your website, you did the marketing thing, the mentorship program. But why don't you, before we get into all that, why don't you tell everybody about your business, and tell us the origin story? Like, how'd you get into it, and then where, and how'd you arrive at Pocono Table Company right now?
Right. So it kind of all started, um, well, back when I was a lot younger and I was living at home with my parents. My father, he always had a wood shop in the basement. He was always making things, cabinets for the kitchen, making tables and furniture and built-ins. So I was always around woodworking, and I was always interested in woodworking and tools. And he would teach me when I wanted to be taught. And as I got older, I kind of went on the back burner on it, and I kind of became, I was a teenager and 21. I wanted to go out and party and all that stuff. And then I realized when I was a lot older and married and living in my house, I said, I kind of want to get back into it. I want to do a little wood shop and I want to start making things. And I started making things for myself and, a couple of family members. And then, you have a few friends ask for things. And then the ball kind of starts growing and rolling. And then before you know it, I started making a bunch of smaller, like, decor items, like wooden flags and cutting boards and stuff like that. And I figured, all right, let me give this a shot. I opened up an Etsy account. I completely got demolished on Etsy for a pretty good time because I didn't have any understanding of, SEOs and how to take proper product photos and how to word things to catch people's attention. So I decided, okay, I gotta learn this. This is like something I really need to learn. So I went into YouTube. I basically taught myself how to do all of that. And I'm still not good at it. Um, but I learned that, and then once I started applying those techniques, I saw sales coming in, and I said, "Oh boy, all right, awesome!" So that kind of lit a fire under me, and I started doing the decor things, and then I didn't think it would happen, but when I you make something so much, you kind of hate doing it, and I said, "This is not what I want to do. I don't want to be doing this. These small little things, these flags. Nothing against anyone who does that, but." I just started to hate doing it. I want to make tables. I want to make big pieces of furniture. I want to make furniture for hotels. I want to make furniture for homes. I want to be something big. I've always loved the slabs, um, and the epoxy. So I said, you know what? Let me start making some live edge tables. So I made a dining room table, um, and like a small coffee table for my house. As people came in, they started loving it. They said, "Oh, I've never seen that before. That's so beautiful, amazing. I'd love one." And then um, that's kind of where I stayed, and that's still what I love to do. I still love making the tables. I love making river tables with the epoxy. I love anything slab related, small, medium, large. Um, Unfortunately, most of my orders are still on the smaller side of things, because most of the general public just doesn't have an understanding of true cost of materials, so they kind of get shell shocked when they hear a price for a 12-foot long live edge slab table with 18 gallons of epoxy down the middle of it.
It's
But
not
I'm getting
cheap.
there. I'm still learning. No, no, it's not cheap, not cheap. But when that happens with a customer or potential customer, I kind of try to educate them. I don't want to talk down to them. I don't want to come off as rude. So I try to itemize things and show some cost because I want them to know. I
Yeah.
don't want them to go around thinking and contacting other businesses and other woodworkers thinking that they're going to get a Bob's Furniture piece for the same amount of money as a fully custom tape.
Yeah. And what about the so you started making tables, and then when did you know that it was going to be a real thing?
I knew it was going to be a real thing because I wanted it to be a real thing. Um, as I made more and more pieces, I said, all right, this is really I finally figured out what I want to do. Like this is what I want to do. I want to just make beautiful pieces of furniture and be able to have it in someone's home and have that person look at it and put a smile on their face, and if they have people over, be like a statement piece. This is what I want to do. I love everything about it. I love learning about it. I love meeting, you know, other people in the business. I kind of like the fact that I could still bring my father in and I could bounce ideas off him. I'm still learning from that guy. Um, this is just what I want to do, and I'm just constantly trying to learn as much as I can and keep expanding because I need to go at this full time. I want to build a business and I want to be the biggest brand in my area. So my kid has something to do if they want to do it when they're older and
Yeah.
they could give it to their kid. I want to build something generational, well known. It's going to take time and I still have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm trying.
You know, I think that's one of the reasons why I like you. Well, for one, we're both from New York, right? And so
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
there's the you're originally from Staten Island. I'm originally from Brooklyn, Queens, and Long Island. And so I love the ambition, and I think that's one of the reasons why I like working with you is because um, you said it, and not a lot of people do say it. They do it in their actions, but it's good to declare like what you want, right? And so um one of the things, so you like doing tables. um what has been a challenge so far for you that you've recently overcome?
Mark, marketing,
Yeah.
advertising, basically generating leads,
Hmm.
um, and understanding like SEO and all that general area.
Yeah.
That's always been a big roadblock. And with the help of you and the group, I've kind of got a little bit of a better handle on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's still taking me some time to implement all the strategies and you know techniques, but I'm getting there. The nine to
what
five job is really killing me.
what so you have the 9 to 5 job, and we had talked about during one of our calls, you had talked about the strategy to just start stealing time away from your job. Tell everybody what you started to do.
So basically you have to your 9 to 5 job has to create a problem for you. And as the 9 to 5 job is creating that problem for you, that gives you time to take off to focus on your main goal. So I don't get paid time off. I don't get paid vacation. I don't get any of that. So I would take off a couple of days here and there and just try to get some stuff done. But ultimately, it it's getting to the point, and I went up to my boss. I said, "Listen, this is what I have going on." I told him everything. I said, "This is what I got going on. This is what I want to do. Would you be okay with me taking off 1 day a week so I could focus on that?" Yes, no problem. Done. In a few months, I'm going to go back. I'm going to revisit that and say, "Oh, would you be okay with me taking off another day so I can only work 3 days?" And just keep hammering at it until I could get to where I want to be and what they're okay with, until I could really get my feet rooted and take this thing full blown, and then hopefully, well, eventually I'll be able to transition fully.
Yeah. Yeah. What made you first start wanting to work with me? Because like I remember you distinctly being on that marketing plan workshop. Um, and I remember you saying like you were a little bit ahead in terms of just kind of like mindset marketing wise, like you weren't afraid to like invest in marketing, boosting posts and ads and stuff. And you needed some tweaking, right? But like at what point did you know that you needed help?
I knew I needed help when I was paying Facebook ads a ton of money to run ads for. No, so every time I would do a post and it would do well on its own, I would throw some money into it to boost it, to get more profile visits, etc. But I said there's got to be more to it. So I need to pay a professional
Yeah.
to either do it for me or to teach me how to do it.
Yeah.
Because obviously I can't figure it out on my own.
Yeah.
And Jake Latvala,
Yeah.
I discovered
Jake.
him on Instagram,
Yeah.
and I said, "Oh man, this guy's kicking ass."
Yeah.
And then as it went on, I started. I threw him a message, and then he responded. I said, "Oh, cool, down to earth guy, great guy." Um, he started growing and growing and growing and growing and growing. I said, "Oh man, I would love that." And then
Yeah.
I saw that he was on the podcast, and I said, "Huh, I listened to that. That's an inspiring story." Um, I reached out. I said, "Hey man, how was it working with Steve?" He was like, "Oh, it's great." Blah blah blah. I said, "All right, I'm gonna give it a shot." And then
Yeah. Yeah.
I started following your account and speaking with you, and then one thing led to another, and here we are, two peas in a pod.
What and the mentorship program, tell everybody what the mentorship program is like.
So the mentorship program is it's a group of people. There was a group of us from all kind of. It was a unique group. There was just a couple of sawmilling businesses, woodworkers, and forestry. And so there was different knowledge within the group, and we all had our own struggles that we would tell to each other, and maybe the other person might have a tip or a trick or insight on how to combat that. And then, of course, you were in there to give your advice and your knowledge about pretty much everything marketing and all that kind of stuff and branding, because that's what we were all there for, pretty
Yeah.
much, to be able to learn how to grow and expand businesses within this digital era.
Yeah.
Um, because when you're a smaller business, and there was, I don't know, I think there was two other people in the group that were still at a full-time job.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So they were struggling like that with the same thing like I was, and it was just it was like a confidence boosting, being able to interact with other people, um, learn what they know, and kind of build a relationship with them. So you have them, and they have you, and you're learning together and you're growing together, and it was just a good experience. You just you learn a lot, you build new relationships, make new connections, and it was very insightful and helpful.
What results did you get from being in the workshop, in the mentorship program? Any major breakthroughs or any wins that you're proud of that happened while you were in the program?
It it might sound weird, but it kind of boosted my confidence a lot
Mm-hmm.
for myself to be able to take on what problems I have and just crush it.
Yeah.
Um, I'm still like slowly applying the techniques because I struggle with Facebook and I struggle with all that still. Um, but I'm taking those techniques and you kind of develop like a worksheet for me,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm starting to do it, and I'm getting results. And
That's
as I
great.
get results, I get pumped up. Like I just started
Yeah.
a Facebook group. You know, um, so hopefully that kind of gets some traction going. I still got to figure that out, but I want to build a community around myself.
Yeah,
Well, that
yeah.
might not sound right, but around like my brand,
That's
like I want
that's
to
what
build
I
a community.
teach. That's what we teach. Yeah, you build a community around yourself. Absolutely.
Yes, yeah,
All
yeah,
day.
yeah, yep, and it works.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
works. I want to be able to share what I learn and what I know to people who were like me to help them.
Yeah. Yeah.
The more
Yeah.
you help people, the better you are. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
if you're in
Yeah.
it just for the money, you're in it for the wrong reason.
Yeah, for sure. And so you were first naughty flag company,
Correct.
and then I remember one day you texted me and you're like, hey, I'm thinking about a rebrand. And talk about that, and talk about the process of like rebranding a company, and just like mentally, like the hurdle that you needed to get over it, how you knew that you needed to do that.
So I'm the type of person that when they have an idea in their head, they need to execute on it immediately.
Yeah.
There's no sitting around and pondering. It's just, okay, and this is what I want. Okay, 5 minutes, I'm going to do it. So when I started making sales originally, like I said earlier, it was more in the line of wooden flags and smaller pieces. I said, okay, now I got to make a social media page. Now I got to figure out a name. Okay, the Naughty Flag Co. So I didn't realize it at first, but I immediately like segregated myself into one specific thing.
Yeah.
And then as I grew and I realized what I really want to do, I can't be making river tables and beautiful dining tables with a
Got it.
name of a company that's completely irrelevant,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you know? So I really hated the name, and it kind of was like, oh man, this is really bugging me. I wanna rebrand into something actually relevant. Um, so I needed to do that. I reached out to you. Um, I figured you would know better than I would, and then you did. So we kind of sat down, and you 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 threw things at me that I wouldn't never have even thought of. The area that I live in, right?
Yeah.
Pocono Table Company, Pocono Mountains, Pennsylvania. It's a well-known area.
Super well
People
known.
travel here,
It's a
right?
tourist
People travel here.
destination.
That's correct. Um, 10 minutes away from my house, there's giant shopping outlets. So there's tons of people. You could go on Instagram and there's hashtags for it, all that stuff. So you gave me the idea to incorporate Pocono into the name because you can market just with that and
Yeah.
target with that. So I put together a couple of names. You bounced a couple of names off me, and then I kind of decided on what I decided on. I purchased a bunch of domains just so no one could take it. And then I got to designing a logo, which was hard.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted something, and we spoke about this. I didn't want the run of the mill, cartoony um, kind of logo.
Sawmill. Yeah, sawmill.
Yeah,
Log,
you know.
log. Yeah.
I didn't want like the saw blade. Like I wanted something a little bit unique and more professional that would look good on a billboard.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
design that, and I actually found a graphic designer on Instagram from Colorado, and I said, let me reach out to this guy, see if he could put some of these ideas I have into something cool.
Yeah.
Um, he made two logos for me. I still have them, and that's where we are. I got the logo, I got the name, I got the website. Great website, and it's all coming together now. I just got to figure out how to if I got a uh,
If you got a what?
trademark. Do you have to trademark the name?
Yeah, well, the at first, now that you own it and you like, what I would do is obviously start putting your logo and your brand on things so that you show precedence. Eventually you can trademark. Trademarking could be expensive, but as long as you
Yep.
got it on a t-shirt, as long as you got it on your wood products and you have pictures on social media, anybody that comes after you be like, listen, I've been using it before. Like,
Right. Okay.
you know what I
Okay.
mean?
Okay.
That's the
But
budget way to do it. That's the budget way to do it.
I started a trademark for the Naughty Flag because I started seeing other people pop up with that name. So I
Yeah.
said, oh man, that sucks. So I
Yeah.
started doing
Yeah.
the process. It was like $500.
Yeah.
Had to do all the applications,
Yeah.
and I still got rejected.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't understand that legal jargon, but
Sure.
I
Tell
do
tell
need.
every well tell everybody about how, because you don't just make beautiful charcuterie boards and coffee tables and tables. You started making your own finishing oils. How did that come about?
Absolutely. Um, I plain and simple just got sick and tired of spending a ton of money on these expensive finishes. $60 for a can of oil
Somebody.
finishes is a
Yeah. Yeah.
lot,
Yeah.
and if you use it, you're gonna go through it. Um, I hate polyurethane. There's a place for it, but I hate it. I hate those kind
Yeah.
of finishes. I like the
I
natural,
know.
the wax oil finishes,
Yeah.
like the Osmo, the Rubio. But like I said, they're expensive.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of
Yeah.
people don't want to spend that much money, especially when they're starting off. So I said, let me just try to make my own, wood finish to use on cutting boards and stuff like that at first, and then so I spent a good amount of time researching what natural and safe oils would actually penetrate into the wood fibers and solidify over time to seal the wood from within the fiber. Um, so I spent some time doing that. I spent time trying to figure out, the best waxes, the most durable waxes, the softest feeling waxes to use. And I put together a couple of little samples, and the result was great for me. I loved it, so I started using it, and then as I started posting it, I originally wanted to do it just so I could save myself a buck. Um, people were like, "Oh, what is that? What is that? What is that?" So I'd be like, "Oh, it's this finish I made. I'll send you some." Dude, I love that. Can I buy some? I said, here we go.
Yeah.
Now I'm offering an all natural, food safe, hard
Finish.
wax oil finish and wax butter at an affordable price.
Yeah.
And it's completely up to par with those expensive brand names.
I like it. I use it. It's really good.
God bless.
It's really good.
God
Yeah,
bless.
it's interesting. I started using it. I use it on my last drop for Purpose Woodco, and man, it's incredible. It brings out, yeah, it's fun to use, you know. So
Thank you. I'm
yeah,
glad you like
no,
it.
yeah, I'm a customer, so it's good. Um, so what's the future hold for you?
The future holds, hopefully, in about 10 months, my sawmill gets here.
What'd you buy?
I bought a Hudson sawmill,
Okay,
um, 30-inch wide, 14 horsepower.
look at you investing in your
Um,
business. Look at you.
well, because I wanted to get into milling because I want to get into obviously milling my own slabs and being able to sell slabs locally because there's not many
Absolutely, yeah.
around. So I said, okay, I don't know if I could really put a sawmill on the side of my house right now. My wife might kill me. So let me go the chainsaw route. So long story short, I spent about $4,000 on chainsaws, and a buddy of mine, he had two really big white oak trees taken down, about 32 inches in diameter, big things. It took me 5 days to get all those logs out of his yard. I went and I bought a trailer. I bought a winch. I figured I could be able to mill it on his property and just load up the trailer and be good to go. But that was a rude awakening
Yeah.
when I started seeing how long it actually took to mill with the chainsaw and how much I would make one cut. I'd be out of a tank of gas. I'd need oil. I'd need to sharpen the blade. And I said, dude,
It's not
I just
efficient.
I gotta get a sawmill. I gotta get a sawmill. My father has a sawmill. It's great. I
Yeah.
said, you know what? I should have just did this from the beginning. It's the same amount of money. I'll be able to bang these things out. It'll be efficient, and it would save me a lot of time and aggravation. And if I want to grow, this is what I need to do.
Yeah.
So I started looking at them, and then the lead times on all of it's crazy. Like Wood Miser is crazy. I was looking at Wood Miser. I compared a couple of different brands, and I settled on Hudson because my father has a Hudson. I'm kind of a little bit familiar with it, and then I like that they're from New York.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a family company. I said let me
Upstate.
try to
Yeah.
support them. Um, got that going. So the future holds. Launch my website. Start gaining traction and generating leads and funneling people onto my website so I could get off the Etsy because I can't stand how much money they charge and take away from me.
Yeah.
Um, start making some money, start building a community around my brand and my company. Um, I'd like to start a YouTube channel. When the sawmill gets here, I got a DIY, they call it, kit. So it's going to come in pieces. I'm going to have to build it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All the major stuff's put together, but I'm going to have to put it together. So I wanted to do like a series on, you know,
Putting it together, right?
right. I want to start off leveling the ground, pouring a concrete slab, building like a little shelter over it, putting it together, milling the first log, getting into that, and then just constantly growing and learning. I'd love to be able to eventually buy a piece of land or a building and have you walk in the front door and there'd be an office with a showroom and on one end there's a sawmill and the slabs, and then the other end there's the shop, so you could kind of come in and see what you want and offer
Yeah.
things to people. Like if there's another woodworker and they need a supply, they could come to my place and I'll have that supply that Home Depot won't have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, just be able to buy things from other makers and like table legs and stuff and support others while growing myself.
Yeah.
That's my main goal. That's what I want. A big building with my logo on it, a showroom, slab inventory, and just me making tons of furniture.
Cool. Dude, that's an amazing vision. That's an amazing vision. So why, I guess the last question is why, if there's anybody on the fence about working with me and Woodpreneur and Acres of Timber, the mentorship program, like what would you say to them to sort of convince them to work with me?
Honestly, if you're unsure and you're already thinking about it, just do it, because the more you think about it, you're only hurting yourself. Um, you're a great guy to talk to. Um, I consider like this a friendship now, actually. Like, you know, it's
Same.
not just okay, he took my money, he taught me this, and then that was it. Like, I feel like we've built a relationship, and I could reach out to you if I'm ever unsure of something, and you'd be there to help me along. Um, if you don't know what you're doing, hire a professional.
Yeah.
Hire a professional. Get it done the right way. Get on track, and you'll whoever if they want to work with you and they decide to, they're gonna love it because you're not an a-hole.
Yeah. I
You're nice
appreciate
to
that.
work with, and you're smart, you know. So
That's great.
just
Thank you.
just
I
do it.
appreciate it. No, I feel the same way. I feel like, like we're both invested in each other's success. You support me, I support you. You do great work. We text back and forth, and that's honestly, one of the things that I hope for is to build a community. I've been an entrepreneur for a long time and I really love what I do. And I just love encouraging other people to be entrepreneurs, which is why the Woodpreneur community exists. It's like, let's get paid to do what you love all the time and get paid well for it, period. Right. Build a legacy, build something that lasts beyond you. Like I just said this thing the other day. We had our Woodpreneur launch party. I was like, the big motivator lately for me has been like a couple things. Like one is, but I'll tell you one thing. My father-in-law was like, you died 2 times in your life. The first time is when you physically died. The second time is when your people stop saying your name. And we were saying that in regards to like my wife's grandfather. So my father-in-law's father-in-law. He was like the patriarch of the family. He was an entrepreneur. He was an author, and he was a woodworker and a tree farmer. He made beautiful pieces of wood. Beautiful. He was in his 80s still building stuff, right? Like 80. I'm like, and like whenever you saw him, he was just chilling in a chair. But then he'd walk. He goes, "Oh, let me show you what I just finished," and you'd see this beautiful work. And he's got a lot of kids. Oh, he doesn't. He has a lot of grandkids, a lot of great grandkids, right? Everybody has his furniture. Everybody. His legacy lives on in his pieces forever. My wife just refinished a dresser that her grandfather made her. She refinished it to give to my daughter. My kids sleep on a bed that was made by their grandfather, but planted by their great grandfather 40 years ago. I'm like,
That's awesome.
that's the legacy that the Woodpreneur community, like all this, but that's what we just talked about. You want to pass on something to your kids, your grandkids, like you want to build something that lasts. And is only really possible with wood. Think about it, right?
Gotta come from somewhere.
It's got to come from somewhere. And that's you. That's everybody that's listening. Anyway, I'm pretty pumped up. As always, it's awesome to talk to you. I'm down for you and your success. And congrats on the move and the rebrand. Why don't you tell everybody about your website and your Instagram so they can follow you?
Right. So the website is it's poconotablecompany.com. I'm actually finishing that up today, so that should be ready to launch with a commerce store for Friday. I'm gonna do a launch on social media, let everyone know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my Instagram is Pocono Table Company at Pocono Table Company. Um, that's the Instagram. I have a Facebook page with the same name, and I just started a Facebook group, PA Woodworkers, because
Nice.
there is no group for it, weirdly enough.
You're gonna kill it, dude. You're gonna
So
kill it.
I got to
Yes.
figure out how to get that going.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you want to follow along, follow along. If you want to
Well,
contact
you
me,
should.
feel free
Everybody
to.
should. Everybody should. You should. Everybody should check out your oils. Everybody should definitely check out and you'll be able to get those on your website too.
Absolutely. I'd love to be able to share the wealth, you know?
Cool, man. Dude, thank you so much for everything. I'm excited to see how much you grow.
All right, man. Thank
All
you.
right. Take care.